Hello and welcome. Today I am going to talk to you about my 5 top rituals that I do every morning before I start my day. And by doing these rituals, my day tends to often start with a boom. So, to begin with, this all started a few months ago after I listened to a great webinar by a guy called Robin Sharma. He is a very inspiring speaker and he talks a lot about productivity. At this point in time, when I listened to his webinar, I was waking at the ridiculous hour of 7:30 to 8 o'clock a.m., which would actually start my day really chaotically and quite disorganized. And having to get 3 kids to school and have their lunches packed, I don't know how I got myself into this ridiculous habit of waking so late. So when I listened to this webinar, I was really quite inspired um, by what he had to say and the benefits of waking up early. He has this 5 a.m. club, which he believes that waking at 5 a.m. is the optimal time to enhance productivity, well-being, and just clarity of mind, and a really great way to start your day. So I decided to jump in and give it a go, and with a lot of trepidation, the next Monday, of course, we always start things on a Monday, I decided to set my alarm at 5:30. I couldn't quite get myself to set it at 5 a.m., but 5:30 was quite doable for me, considering I'd been waking up at 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I was just about to launch into a bit of a experiment and cut 2 to 2.5 hours out of my sleep, and just to see how that went. Well, to begin with, the first 3 days were amazing. I felt as though I was an Energizer bunny. I felt like I had so much energy, it was ridiculous. Um, so, what things I did when I woke up was this. So I set my alarm at 5:30, and the first thing I did was do a 10-minute meditation. And when I say do, I should probably say this is what I have continued to do since. So I start my day with a meditation, and this can be of many different forms. It could be me just focusing on my breathing, it could be me doing a visualization, it could be me just trying to find a sense of calm and relaxation and clear out all the clutter of my mind. Whatever works for you. But 5 to 10 minutes of meditation is what I first start with. And once I do that, I get up and then I do some yoga. The benefits of doing some form of exercise straight away is it actually gets your brain moving, and it starts releasing necessary chemicals in your brain and your body to make you feel good, and it's just the perfect way to start the day in my mind. If you build up some sweat, that's even more beneficial in sort of the rewiring some pathways in your brain. Yeah, there's not enough evidence. I mean, there's too much evidence around the benefits of exercise, and particularly as the first thing that you do to get up and get your mind going. So after I do some yoga for about 20 minutes, I then move on to doing a gratitude practice. This might involve either writing things down, or once again, at the end of my yoga, I could just do some meditation and sort of note all the things that I'm grateful for. Having a gratitude practice can be one of the most beneficial things to do in helping you just be grateful for what you have, and to lift your spirits about yourself and who you are as a person. It's a great self-love activity to do, to increase respect for yourself, respect for all that you are doing and all that you are wanting and to bring into your life. When we can be grateful for the things that we do have, even if we feel that we don't, if nothing's going our way, just taking time to reflect on even just having a roof over your head, having food in your mouth, having clothing on your body can be just a great way to shift your thinking from a place of what you do have as opposed to what you don't, coming from a place of lack. So after I've done a gratitude problem practice, I then move on to doing some journaling. Now, journaling, for me, since I have started doing this, is the one thing I have found that if I don't do it in the morning, I just I find that it sort of really impacts the rest of my day. I'm finding that the journaling particularly is the one thing that me particularly, I'm really sort of getting a lot out of it. When I first learned about journaling through Julie Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, don't know if any of you've read it. It's quite an old book now, and she talks about the morning pages and the benefits of just the minute you wake up, dumping all your thoughts on paper, whether it be just googly doc or whether it just be things that you've woken up with, that by putting everything on paper before you start your day allows your mind to be clear to then move through the rest of the day. She does focus a lot on creativity and how when you are being creative, that sometimes you have all this mind clutter, and by doing the morning pages is a practice by just releasing all the mind clutter. So then when you move on to your creative art or creative day, whatever it is that you're wanting to bring into the day, that the mind clutter has sort of already been dumped on paper. She even talks about even if you don't have anything to write, just to keep writing. So just to have a free flow of conscious writing for at least 3 pages a day. So I don't always do 3 pages, but I do set my timer for 20 minutes. And every day I write for 20 minutes in my journal. And it's not always just whatever's on my mind. Sometimes I might write down things that I have to do for the day, things that are bothering me. Sometimes I might once again do a gratitude, write down what I'm grateful for, write down my dreams, my aspirations. So it doesn't necessarily mean journaling is just free-flowing writing. It could be very specific as well. And as I said, I found that this part of my morning ritual particularly has been most helpful. And lastly, the next thing that I do to start my day before my children are up and before I start thinking about all the things I have to do is to engage in some form of learning. And I do this for 20 minutes. So generally I read, but sometimes if there's a webinar or a podcast that is inspiring, or if I'm doing an online course, or just to take at least 20 minutes in this period of time in the morning to learn. Your brain is far more open to engage and absorb information at the first part of the day, and it's the perfect time to engage in learning as opposed to in the evening. But we are all different, and there's nothing to say that learning at night is a bad thing. It's just I think me personally, I find that when I just take time out to read something that's either for personal development or something that's going to inspire me or help me grow in some way, that doing it in the morning before my day starts has been insurmountably beneficial. So there you go. They're my 5 top rituals that I do every day, and I have been doing for the last 3 months. One really important thing to note that I found that when I first started engaging in this practice, that after about a week, which is when quite often we go to start something new, and the first week often tends to be where it's something new, we're engaged in it, but then usually after about a week it tends to be quite difficult. And I did find that by day 8, by day 9, I was actually really resisting getting up at this time of day. And But after I pushed through those 2 days, for the next 10 or so days, I was able to get myself into a really solid routine, which I have continued to do over time over the last 3 months. I do, however, I must admit, have at least one day off a week, usually on a weekend, where I go back to enjoying my sleep-ins. But other than that, I'm a big, massive fan of the 5 a.m. club, and I'm a big fan of waking up early. And I cannot describe the benefits that it has had for my productivity and my clarity of mind and just my overall sense of well-being and how I'm feeling about myself inside. So give it a go. There are some resources that I will tag onto my blog post for this and that you can check out. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a line at becky@creatingpathways.com.au. Thank you.